Hello everyone, this video is all about the topic selection process that you're going to go through this week. I just wanted to explain a little bit more about it and kind of show you where these things are in your book just to make it a little bit easier for you. So to start off with, the topic selection, basically what you're going to be doing is picking one of the topics from our book, and that is going to be the main topic that you stick with and work with throughout the entire term. So you're not going to be working with 3, 4, 5 different topics. Instead, you're going to be picking one that you have some interest in, some curiosity about, something that attracts you to it, and that is what you're going to look into. You're going to become somewhat of an expert in that field, at least as much of an expert as you can be within 11 weeks. And that will allow you to gain as much knowledge as possible, so when it comes to the end of the term and you write your own argument essay on the topic, you will have a much wider breadth of knowledge than if we jumped around to different topics throughout the term. So in your book, and I know this is not going to be something you can probably read on the screen, you're probably going to need to actually look at your own book to find this, but I'm just looking at the brief table of contents. So this is right in the front of your book, right before kind of the in-depth table of contents. And if you look at that page and you scroll to the bottom, you're going to see that there is a part 5 and part 6. That is the area that you're going to look at in order to find your topic. Now, just to give you some ideas what I mean by topic, under part 5, there are 5 different topics listed out. So the first one is what's in a word? Should we all pledge to end derogatory use of the word retard? The next one is social responsibility. Do businesses have an obligation to society? Science and morality. Should human stem cells be used for research? Gender stereotypes. Is the princess phenomenon detrimental to girls' self-image? And economic and college. Should college athletes be paid? So those are the 5 different topics. So you don't have to narrow it down more than that. You're literally just going to be picking one of those. Now you can pick from part 5 or part 6, all right? So between those two, there's 11 different topics covering a wide variety of issues, everything from the ones I just mentioned to some of the ones in part 6 talk about violence on school campuses, food. All right, so any of you that are foodies out there, there is a section on food, there's some on freedom of speech, there's some on medicine, there's another one on competitive sports. So there's all these different areas. Again, there's 11 total. You'll pick one of those that you want to explore and work with this term. And then what you're going to see is all the major assignments are going to tie back to whichever one that you picked. All right. So between part 5 and part 6, there's a couple things I wanted to make you aware of and let you know about just to kind of help you make your decision a little bit easier, even better. So there's a few things to think about. Part 5, you're going to notice that in our book, each topic in part 5 will have 2 articles attached to it. So if you pick a topic from part 5, what that means is that when it gets to that argument essay a little bit later in the term, you may have just a little bit more research that you'll need to do to fully understand the topic. All right, so there just may be a little bit more to do at that point. The great thing about picking one from that section is it leaves it much more open for you to come up with your own ideas and add a voice to the topic. So coming up with your own specific argument you may find, and again, it's not absolute, of course, but you may find it a little bit easier with a topic from part 5. Now, part 6 is actually the kind of opposite of that. Part 6 comes with a variety of readings, so most sections in that area have, I think, 5 or 6 readings attached to them, so significantly more than 2. And they offer a whole bunch of different viewpoints on the topic. So instead of just getting 2 sides, you get a whole bunch of different sides. That's excellent because it provides kind of the groundwork for really understanding the topic, but it may make it a little bit more difficult later on just to kind of find your own direction, your own box, your own pathway that you plan to take. So that's just something to consider when you're looking between those 2 sections. Again, they both have some benefits to them, and they both have some things that, not detriments, but just could be a little bit of a challenge at some point. Either way, any of the topics from this section are going to work really well. They're all really current. They're all up-to-date topics, all things that our society is currently talking about. So Definitely take a look at those sections. You're going to notice this week that I gave you a sort of some extra time. This is a pretty light week as far as the amount of assignments that we're working on. And that's because I really want you to take some time and glance through those sections and try and find one that you want to work with. I don't want students just, glancing at something last minute and picking something and then not being happy with it later on. So take some time to really look through those. If you have any questions, want more information about any of the topics, just ask. All right, I'm more than happy. I have read through all of them, so I have a little bit more in-depth knowledge about what each one is about. But just like I said, really consider, try and make a decision that you're gonna be happy with. However, I will say that if you do pick a topic and you work on this first project, maybe even the second one, and you're just really dissatisfied with it, you're like, this is a struggle, I'm not enjoying this, I'm not getting anything out of it, I really don't feel this is where I want to go with my own argument. When it comes to getting closer to that final piece, if you want to switch to a different topic, I will allow that. Once we get to the point of working on the argument essay, you're going to have to stick with whatever topic you're working with at that point. But I would only really allow one switch in the class. And again, I encourage you not to do that, but I also don't want you to feel too stuck. Sometimes something seems like an excellent idea at first, and then turns out later on really not something that you're interested in engaging with. So again, that's just there kind of as a fail-safe in case you do end up with a topic that you don't love. But anyways, pick a topic, like I said, start looking into it. You can start doing some of the readings. In fact, the other assignments for this week are going to require that you do some of the readings from those sections. So this is a chance to really start, like I said, learning about the topic, learning more about what the arguments are, and starting to gain that knowledge that you're going to need to do the argument essay later on.